Mahabharata, Chapter 31, Bhishma in Command. Read by Nirvan Bajaj and Ekveer Bajaj. Mahabharata, Chapter 31, Bhishma in Command. Vaishampayan then continued. O king, the Pandav warriors were heartened by the fact that Arjun once again picked up the Gandiva bow and became ready for the battle. With gusto, they blew on their conch shells, and as the two armies were poised for combat, Yudhishthir suddenly descended from his chariot and walked towards the chariot of Bhishma. Surprised, Arjun followed him. He asked him, "Where are you going, O king? What is in your mind at this hour?" But Yudhishthir did not reply. The chorus felt happy and laughed at him. "He is frightened of our might, coward!" Yudhishthir touched the feet of Bhishma and said, "O grandsire, I wish to fight with you. Give me your blessings." Bhishma replied, "I am pleased, son. My blessings are with you. Victory will be yours." Yudhishthir then approached Drona, his teacher in the martial arts. He said, "I seek your blessings and advice, O Lord. How will I be able to conquer the Kauravas when the invincible you are on their side?" Drona replied, "O king, you have my blessings. You are sure to be victorious. I do not wish to fight against you, but I am helpless. But I will tell you how you may slay me in battle. I can only be slain when I have dropped my arms, and I will do so only if a man I trust brings me unpleasant tidings." After this, Yudhishthir approached Kripa, Shalya, and other senior warriors and obtained their blessings. Then he stood between the two armies and called out, "I make an appeal to all Kaurav warriors. If any of you wish to come over to my side, he or she is welcome." Yuyutsu, one of Duryodhana's brothers, spoke up. "O king, if you will accept, I will join you." Yudhishthir replied, "You are welcome, Yuyutsu." After everyone who wanted to come to the Pandavs' army came, they started. The war drums, the trumpeting of the elephants, the neighing of the horses, and the blowing of the conch shells, everything started. The two armies then fell upon each other. Intense warfare ensued. Chariots confronted chariots, cavalry contended with cavalry, and infantrymen engaged in hand-to-hand fighting. Dushasan's sharp arrows wounded Nakul. Nakul in turn showered arrows on him and injured him. Shalya shattered the bow of Yudhishthir in two, and Yudhishthir, taking another bow, retaliated by enveloping him with arrows. Drona attacked Drishtidyumna and destroyed his bow. Shikhandi and Ashwadhama engaged in a fierce battle and inflicted wounds on each other. And in the fury of war, the warriors violated many rules set down for the Dharma Yuddha, a righteous war. Warriors on chariots clashed with cavalrymen, and those mounted on elephants fought infantrymen. And after 1 hour of the battle, many lay wounded or dead. And then Shalya shot Uttar, the prince of the Matsya kingdom, dead. Thereupon, Uttara's brother Shweta came up in a wild fury to attack the Kauravas. The Kaurav army began to scatter before the fierceness of his wrath. Seeing the whole army retreating in fear of Shweta, the mighty Bhishma released the Brahmastra, and Prince Shweta was killed. Gloom descended on the Pandav army as their hero fell, and King Virat was very disheartened. The Pandavas returned to their camp at the end of the day. Yudhishthir lamented, "O Krishna, Bhishma brought havoc upon our army today. If this continues, we shall certainly be annihilated at his hands." Krishna replied, "Do not worry, Yudhishthir. You have valiant heroes in your army who will not hesitate to lay down their lives for your sake." And on the second day of their war, Drishtidyumna, the commander-in-chief, instilled hope in the Pandav army. He said, "Today I shall confront the mighty Bhishma, Kripa, Drona, Shalya and Jayadratha." And the loud blowing of conch shells signaled the beginning of war. The two armies charged against each other. In the initial combat, the Pandava army suffered defeat and had to withdraw. Arjun saw this and said to Krishna, "Take my chariot close to Bhishma. I must keep him from destroying our army." In the combat between Bhishma and Arjun, Krishna was wounded. Highly enraged, Arjun shot at Bhishma's charioteer and wounded him too. Elsewhere, Drona and Drishtadyumna engaged in combat. Bhishma was on a killing spree, hitting everyone with his mace and throwing them around. Towards the end of the second day, Arjun and Abhimanyu had together put the Kaurava army to flight. On the third day of the war, O king, the Pandavas in a burst of fury scattered the Kaurava army. Seeing his army retreating, Duryodhana said to Bhishma accusingly, "O grandsire, you are deliberately not using up all your strength. Why did you not tell me before the hostilities commenced that you would not fight the Pandavas and their allies? I would have made some other arrangement." Bhishma replied smilingly, "I had told you that the Pandavas are invincible. However, you should now see this old man doing his best in the battle." And Bhishma now wrought havoc on the Pandava army. Arjun once again said to Krishna, "O Krishna, Bhishma has become terror incarnate to our army. Drive the chariot in his direction." On confronting Bhishma, Arjun shot a volley of arrows at him. Bhishma applauded. "Bravo Arjun, you are doing very well." But Bhishma's fury continued unabated. Krishna thought to himself, "Bhishma will surely slaughter the Pandava army in his rage. I will have to kill him." And as Krishna rushed at Bhishma with his Sudarshan Chakra, Bhishma said, "O Krishna, I do not know of a higher honor than that of dying at your noble hands. I welcome your attack, O Lord." But Arjun and Bhishma tried to restrain Krishna. "Do not take up arms, O Krishna. Control your anger." And then Arjun took a vow. "Never again will I be found wanting in my zeal to fight, nor negligent of my duty as a Kshatriya. I will kill all the Kauravas." Krishna was pleased at the declaration and resumed his seat in the chariot. Arjun now released the divine Mahendra weapon from his bow. This weapon alone caused the death of 10,000 Rathis and 700 elephants. The Kaurav soldiers returned to their camp, exhausted and demoralized. And on the fourth day, Arjun and Bhishma again confronted each other. Drishtadyumna fought with Shalya, while Bhima let loose his fury against the elephants in the army. Others too joined Bhima in killing the elephants. His son Ghatotkacha too inflicted heavy casualties on the Kaurav army. Thus, the Kauravas lost the battle on the fourth day too. On the fifth day, Virat faced Bhishma. Bhima faced Duryodhana, while single-handedly Abhimanyu contended with several of Dhritarashtra's sons. On this day, Arjun killed thousands of Kauravas riding in their chariots. Exhausted, both armies returned to their respective camps at sundown. On the morning of the sixth day, in Dhritarashtra's chamber, Dhritarashtra said, "Alas, Sanjaya, fate seems to favor Pandavas in this war and not us." Sanjaya replied, "This war has been of your own making, O king." And at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the two armies stood facing each other at dawn. Bhima suddenly got down from his chariot and charged headlong at the Kaurav army. After some time, Dhritarashtra noticed that Bhishma's chariot was empty. He inquired of the charioteer, "Where is dear Bhishma?" The charioteer replied, "O Lord, he has gone away towards the Kaurav army, leaving me alone here." Drishtadyumna wondered, "He has gone alone. I must be with him and protect him." Thus Drishtadyumna followed the track of Bhima, which was laid with elephants dead from his mace blows. Bhima, surrounded by enemies on all sides, was fighting valiantly. Drishtadyumna quickly invited Bhima to get into his chariot. He carefully removed the arrows from his body and said, "Rest a while, O Bhima. You have fought long and courageously." And seeing this Drishtadyumna coming to the aid of Bhima, the Kaurav army fell upon them with renewed vigor. Drishtadyumna then used a powerful weapon against them, which made them all unconscious. And Drona arrived in a chariot and released a counter weapon, which brought life back into the unconscious Kauravas. Drona then turned his fury against Drishtadyumna and killed Drishtadyumna's horses and charioteer. Meanwhile, Drona continued fighting fiercely. The Pandav army trembled before him in fear. Elsewhere, Bhima tormented Duryodhan with an incessant shower of arrows. Duryodhan was wounded all over his body. Kripa then invited Duryodhan to climb onto his chariot. Come in here, Duryodhan. Sit down and rest for a while, Duryodhan." Meanwhile, a number of Kauravas riding their chariots surrounded Abhimanyu and attacked him. But the young Abhimanyu repulsed the attack. Bhishma of matchless valor slaughtered several battalions. After this, he retired for the day with his forces. On reaching the camp, Duryodhan said to Bhishma, "I am afraid of Bhima's rage, O grandsire. Under your guidance, I wish to kill the Pandavas." Bhishma reassured him, "Do not worry, O prince. I will do my best to carry out your wish." Bhishma then gave Duryodhan an ointment to heal his wounds. And then the two armies, feeling refreshed in the morning, again faced each other on the 7th day. And plunged with gusto in this battle in which brother killed brother. Duryodhan then announced, "O heroes, protect Bhishma, for he is determined to fight Arjun to the finish." Virat then forged ahead to face Drona. Drona bestowed Virat's banner and bow, and then shot his charioteer and horses dead. Virat got onto the chariot of Shankar. Father and son together restrained the onslaught of Drona's vigor. Drona retaliated by shooting a poisonous arrow at Shankar, and Shankar collapsed dead. Virat fled the battlefield in fear. Shikhandi wounded Ashwadhama in his forehead, and enraged Ashwadhama shot Shikhandi's charioteer and horses dead. Shikhandi then took up a sword and a shield and jumped out of his chariot, while Ashwadhama showered a volley of arrows at him. And Ashwadhama shattered the sword and the shield and wounded Shakuni. Shikhandi then ascended Satyaki's chariot. And Satyaki waged a fearsome battle against the Kaurav army and killed many a brave warrior. And by the setting sun, the weary soldiers returned to their camps. They healed each other's wounds and slept peacefully. And on the 8th day, Bhima killed as many as 17 of Dhritarashtra's sons. Arjun's son, Iravan, who was the son of Ulupi, was killed by the Kauravas. Arjun's distress knew no bounds. "Alas, Iravan, my son is no more." Bhima and his son Ghatotkach reigned supremely in violent fury. And at dusk, when the two armies retired, Duryodhan was anguished to find the field strewn with corpses of soldiers, dead animals, the wreckage of chariots and weapons. "What a ruin," he said to himself. Then back at the camp, he consulted Karna, who had not yet taken part in the fighting. "O Karna, we are not able to cause even a dent in the Pandav army, while they kill our men indiscriminately. I feel dejected and helpless." Karna replied, "Bhishma is the cause of your defeat. He is always favoring the Pandavas. Remove him and put me in charge. All Pandavas will be destroyed by me." Duryodhan then approached Bhishma. "O grandsire, your bravery is matchless, but if you are shielding the Pandavas out of affection for them, then allow Karna to take command. He will certainly inflict defeat on them." Bhishma thought to himself, "He wishes to remove me from this war. Alas, this accursed state of my dependence will force me to fight with Arjun and kill the Pandavas, if I am able to do so." While Duryodhan thought to himself, "Grandsire has resolved to do it. Bhishma replied, "Go and sleep well, Duryodhana. I shall do your bidding tomorrow, but at no cost shall I fight Shikhandi, who was earlier a woman." Duryodhana got back to his camp and spoke to Dushasana. "Bhishma has promised to kill all the Pandavas tomorrow. This is an opportunity we have awaited for years. But Bhishma will not fight Shikhandi. So choose the best of our warriors and let them give the best possible protection to Bhishma from Shikhandi tomorrow." And Dushasana replied, "Very well." On the 9th day, as the two armies stood facing each other, Arjun saw Bhishma placed under the protection of the mightiest of the Kauravas. He then told Drishtadyumna, the Pandav commander-in-chief, "O Drishtadyumna, place Shikhandi against Bhishma today. I will protect him from Bhishma." The 9th morning of the war, O king, thus saw the Kaurava and the Pandav armies firmly resolved to kill all to be killed, with Arjun behind Shikhandi. And thus ends the 31st session of our rendering of Vaishampayan's recital of Vyasa's immortal Itihasa, the Mahabharata. Stay tuned for Mahabharata chapter 32, and it is called The Fall of Grandsire Bhishma. Please subscribe to this channel, like, share, and comment on this video. Thank you and Namaste.